Welcome to Chicago on a busy Friday afternoon. The Pirates, winners of 6 straight, relocate to Wrigley Field for Game 1 of a 3-game set with the Chicago Cubs. National League Central Division standings. The Cardinals still 4 up on the Bucks. The Cubs chasing the Pirates 3.5 back. The magic number for the Cubs today is 1 to clinch a playoff spot. Hi again, everybody, with John Wehner. I'm Tim Neverett. Robbie Inzmakowski joins us shortly as well. The Pirates hope they can hold off the Cubs' celebration for clinching a postseason spot. Either a Giants loss or a Cubs win today would do it.
Yeah, we're hoping that they'll clinch with the Giants loss, obviously. This is a huge series. The fans around here are going to be going crazy. It should be an electric atmosphere, and hopefully the Pirates can take another series.
Starling Marte coming off a great series against the Colorado Rockies. The Pirates sweeping him 4 straight. Marte with 13 hits, tying a franchise record. You have to go back to Pie Traynor in 1928, in August of that year, when he did it against the Philadelphia Phillies.
He's so locked in right now. You look at the stat sheet, he's pretty close to McCutchen now in just about every stat, but he has matured so much as a hitter. You know, a lot of those hits came with 2 strikes, sometimes 0-2 pitches that he's lining out there. He has shut down his swing a little bit, became much more shorter and quicker in those situations, and because of that, more contact, more base hits.
Let's take a look now at our Allegheny Health Network injury update. Pirates wanted to wait and see about Aramis Ramirez today. Left groin tightness a couple of nights ago in Colorado, legging out a triple. But he is healthy and ready to go today. The Pirates worked him out prior to the game, so he will go. And then Wednesday in Colorado, Gregory Polanco indecisive on a slide, tweaked a knee. Gregory sat out yesterday in Colorado, and he is ready to go. So both Ramirez and Polanco in the lineup today against the Cubs.
It's huge to get these 2 back in the lineup. Now, we do have depth, and the team performed nicely. The offense is clicking right now without him, but Ramirez is your cleanup guy, and I think it's so important for him to be in there. We dodged a bullet there, and with Polanco setting the table, obviously, he's so dynamic and do so many things both offensively and defensively. Very encouraging news to get both of those guys back.
Polanco and Ramirez and the rest of the Bucks getting set to take on the Chicago Cubs, and they'll be doing it behind the guy who loves the September stage, Big Game Garrett. Garrett Cole on the hill. We'll take a look at some of his latest numbers when we come back to Wrigley. against the Cubs. The Pirates depending on their sturdy right-hander for another good performance today. His last performance Sunday against the Dodgers, he was outstanding, going 7 innings, striking out 9. And today, the Buccos hope he can put up win number 18.
And he's been outstanding ever since he put on the Pirates uniform. This guy loves pitching in big games. Today against the Cubs, you know he can't wait to get out there. Against the Dodgers back home, he had the fastball working. The curveball's been a big pitch for him, but he was very aggressive with the fastball. He was feeling it. He was blowing it by the Dodger batters. The bigger the game, the bigger performance from Garrett Cole.
Garrett Cole loves pitching in the month of September, that's for sure. He's on the stage today. Again, the numbers against the Dodgers Sunday, 9 strikeouts, no walks. This year in 3 starts against the Cubs, 1-1. Day games have been good for Garrett. 11 starts, he's 8-1. And when you pair up Garrett Cole with Francisco Liriano and A.J. Burnett, the Pirates have swept 4 series started by this trio this year. So it looks like the Pirates, John, have the right 3 in the rotation during this series in Chicago.
Yeah, they certainly lined them up for this big series against the Cubs, and you know, you think if they could pull off a sweep here, that's pretty impressive with Lester going today, Arrieta on Sunday, and obviously that would move the Cubs out of the competition as far as hosting the wild card game, and it gets the Pirates closer to the Cardinals with that big 3-game set coming up in PNC Park.
It looks like the right starters. The guy coming out of the bullpen to end the games has been awesome. Mark Melancon, 50 saves, picked up his 50th yesterday in Colorado.
You know, it's hard to compare anybody to Mariano Rivera because he had one pitch that nobody can hit. Mark Melancon's pretty close to that because he has a similar pitch, the cut fastball that hitters just can't hit. They know it's coming. Plus, he has the big curveball. What an amazing year for Melancon. He keeps getting better as the year continues.
Look at some of the numbers on Melancon. One of 7 National League pitchers since 1969 to record 50 or more saves, and since July 4, 2013, 97 saves. The very businesslike Mark Melancon was asked about reaching the number 50.
I do take pride in it. I mean, it's my job, so I strive to be consistent, and I don't know. It's pretty neat. It shows what a heck of a team we have. I mean, first of all, bullpen has been terrific, and the guys ahead of me, I mean, can't say enough about them. But yeah, 50, pretty neat.
Well, Mark Melancon trying to get it done again today, and when Clint Hurley gets to hand him the ball, John, that's a good thing.
Yeah, you know, anytime any guy in the back of the bullpen, they've been shutting it down. But Melancon, a lot of talk in April about, well, the velocity's down. Is he the guy for the closer's role? He gets better. The velocity's going up, the stuff, the location, everything about him. It just is really impressive. Maybe the most under-the-radar closer in the game today, and he's leading all of baseball in saves.
His cutter is very nasty, especially to the left-handed hitters. Speaking of lefties, John Lester going for the Cubs this afternoon. The Pirates need to buck the trend and get a win here at Wrigley against the tough lefty. We'll take a look at Lester when we come back to Chicago.
Let's go Bucks.
The Pirates looking over the Cubs' shoulders here today at Wrigley Field as we get set for game one of this three-game weekend set. Very important game in the National League Central Division. Pirates have had the Cubs looking over their shoulders this season, though, winning 10 out of 16 games.
A little surprised by this. You look at the numbers, you see all the home runs the Pirates hit, and you think, boy, they should have won this season series. But the Cubs ahead by 4 games. That's been kind of the theme this year with the Pirates against the NL Central. The Cubs have out-hit them average-wise. They've out-pitched them ERA-wise, and we look for that to change here this weekend so the Pirates can take this series.
John Lester will be on the hill for the Cubs. Last time out against the Pirates, he twirled a complete game.
Yeah, just 1 run, 5 hits in those 9 innings for John Lester. We talk about Garrett Cole being a big game pitcher. John Lester is certainly a big game pitcher. He's pitched in 2 World Series with the Red Sox, arguably the best left-hander in the game. So he's always going to be tough to hit, despite his numbers not being as good as they've been in the past. Lester's always tough to hit.
Sunday against the Cardinals, he took a loss, went 6 innings, gave up a pair of home runs. He did strike out 7, but back on the 15th against the Pirates, that complete game 5-hitter, 4 starts this month. John Lester is 2-1. The opponent's hitting just 191 off of him. And as usual, David Ross will be catching him. So Lester and Garrett Cole, the matchup. Let's send you back to Pittsburgh right now. Rob King is standing by with this game break. coverage brought to you by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you got to get DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV. See some wispy clouds over the north side today. But other than that, gorgeous day to be at the ballpark this Friday afternoon. Pirates and Cubs, a lot of buzz around this neighborhood, John. We came in to the ballpark, and there was tons of foot traffic, and right now they are expecting a full house here every day this weekend.
Yeah, I'm sure they're having a lot of fun around Wrigleyville these days, and they've been anticipating this series, I'm sure. Fans probably a little disappointed the Pirates have done so well. In fact, talked to a couple people around here, and they thought going out to L.A. facing Greinke and Kershaw, and then Colorado, the Pirates might be coming in limping, but coming off the 6 straight wins, playing as well as they have all year, the Pirates, and swinging the bats extremely well, but still should be an exciting series for these Cubs fans.
Yesterday, the Pirates registering their 10,000th victory since joining the National League, a milestone win, looking for 10,001 today as the Cubs take the field, led by left-hander John Lester, who will make his 31st start of the season. Pirates need to get on base, according to Clint Hurdle, and run on him. He does not like to throw to first base. Take a look now at the Toyota lineup for the Pirates. Gregory Polanco leading off. Starling Marte in the 2 spot. Last 5 games he's hitting .600 with 5 extra base hits. And McCutchen third. He hits lefties well. Aramis Ramirez, Francisco Cervelli. Michael Morse gets the start at first base today. Josh Harrison at second. Jordy Mercer hitting 8th. Garrett Cole bats 9th against the Cubs southpaw.
John Lester obviously been around a long time. The veteran has pitched in a ton of big games. He's 10-11, a slow first half for Lester. He has pitched better in the second half, but still looks like he's going to be over 200 innings, 200 strikeouts. We see the home runs there. He can give up the home run ball. Doesn't give up a ton of hits, but today has a little breeze working in his favor. But the Pirates certainly familiar with John Lester.
The defense brought to you by Honda. Chris Coughlin is in right field today. Center field Dexter Fowler, Kyle Schwarber in left. Bryant, Russell, La Stella, and Rizzo around the infield. No Starlin Castro today. David Ross, John Lester's personal catcher. Joe Madden in his first year with the Cubs. I guess you could say, or if you said, John, he's making quite an impression here in Chicago, that'd be one of the biggest understatements there has been made recently.
Yeah, that was his biggest splashes. I think them signing John Lester in the offseason, bringing in Joe Madden, certainly a very good manager. Did some great things down there in Tampa. And obviously, in your first year as a Chicago Cub manager, this team wasn't supposed to compete this year. They weren't supposed to contend this year. And obviously, a lot of great young players, but Joe Madden has a lot to do with it as well.
Gregory Polanco standing in and ready to face the first pitch of the ball game from John Lester. We welcome you to Chicago. It should be a wild weekend. First pitch of the game is ball 1. Polanco's hit some lefties well lately, especially Clayton Kershaw.
Yeah.
It's good to see him getting some success against the left-handers. 2-0 now to count.
The way he went off the field the other day in Colorado obviously didn't look good. He was in some discomfort. Took the day off yesterday. A little surprised that he's back in the lineup. Clint Hurdle waited a bit to give us the lineup just about an hour before game time. Did we know that Polanco was back in there?
2 balls and a strike. Polanco fouling that pitch off.
David Ross takes it right in that throwing shoulder. Has that little pad there, but maybe got him in the chest first. But they get banged up.
2-1 pitch. Corner. Just grazed it. And the count is even 2-2.
You see the fastball, and yeah, Lester gets a call just off that outside edge.
2-2 delivery. Trying to go back out there. And now the count is full to Gregory Polanco. Tony Randazzo calling the balls and strikes this afternoon. Jerry Davis, the crew chief, is at first. Rob Drake, second base. Phil Cuzzi, the third base umpire. Payoff pitch from Lester to Gregory Polanco. We'll get another one. He's got a 5-game hitting streak going.
Swinging about well. Polanco seeing a lot of pitches, which I think is key against a guy like Lester, who was able to go the distance the last time against the Pirates.
3-2 popped up foul. Way out of play.
But obviously good enough to play is Polanco. Again, if I was a betting man, I'd figure just because of the lefty Lester on the hill, maybe he'd get another day. But certainly could be a difference maker, especially when you mentioned the issues Lester has holding runners at first base. The running game could be important here today. The defense Polanco has to offer.
This one is popped up and twisting toward the seats. Chris Bryant will not be able to get to it. Gregory with an extended at bat. We've seen 8 pitches so far from Lester. That was one of the keys for Clint Hurdle today, was to spike his pitch count and get into the bullpen. Gregory starting off with at least a 9-pitch at bat. The payoff once again from Lester. This one's hit to center, but right at Dexter Fowler. One down. Wind always a factor here, blowing in today.
In this ballpark, more so than any other ballpark in the major leagues, the wind always makes a difference. It will be hard to hit a ball out of here this afternoon. You can't miss hit any and expect them to go into the bleachers.
Marte has hit safely in 5 straight, average now in the 290s after his great series in Colorado. 13 hits against the Rockies. He was asked after the game if he knew who Pie Traynor was. He knows who he is now. Tied a franchise record August 2nd through the 4th, 1928. Pie Traynor put 13 hits on the board against the Philadelphia Phillies. Oh boy. Jerry Davis rings up a strike. Looked like Marte had held it. Let's see.
Ball running in on him. And yeah, pretty close. With Marte, though, the way he's been swinging it, doesn't matter what the count is.
This one toward left center. Kyle Schwarber makes the catch. Two down for the Pirates in the top of the first inning. Rivers Casino tips to win. Rock, what do you have for today?
Well, with the wind blowing in and these two great pitchers on the mound, you know, the long ball probably won't come to play very much, but you got to win the small ball game, and that means, you know, the little things, the bunts, the hit and runs, the stolen bases, the defense, not making mistakes on the bases. I think that plays, and then you got to contain those two guys, Rizzo and Bryant, the two big boppers in the middle of this lineup.
Gotcha. Fouls it back for strike one.
Cubs do hit home runs. 9 members of this Cubs offense with double-digit homers. Bryant and Rizzo combined to hit 56.
Almost got McCutchen.
.94, that's usually the 4-seam fastball, but you'll see it running in there. The one that Marte tried to check his swing on was another one with pretty good velocity with run.
To center field, and Fowler hauls it in, and it's a 1-2-3 top of the first. 3 fly ball outs. John Lester's work is done in the first. Garrett Cole will begin his when we come back. Of the first, no score. The Cubs lineup put out by Joe Madden looks like this today. Dexter Fowler leading off, the switch hitter Kyle Schwarber, and then Chris Bryant. Since August 1st, a .333 average, 27 extra base hits, 38 RBIs in the last 49 games. Rizzo bats cleanup, then Coghlan, Russell, Ross. Lester hits 8, and the second baseman Tommy La Stella will bat 9th.
To face Garrett Cole, I'm sure no easy chore. Look at those numbers, 17-8, looking for the 18th win of the year, 2.64 ERA. He can reach the 200 inning mark this afternoon, as well as the 200 strikeout mark. Cole and Lester, you look at the numbers, despite the outside the record and the ERA, pretty similar in a lot of categories in terms of innings pitched, hits allowed, walks, strikeouts. They have the same amount of strikeouts, or within 5 in walks, within 3 in hits allowed, within 4 of innings pitched.
Garrett Cole's first pitch of the game, in for a strike call to Fowler. Fowler batting .251 on the season. 17 home runs. He's been a pretty solid addition to this Cubs team this year, coming over from the Astros in the offseason. He's been very happy here. With the Cubs winning, why wouldn't he be? 1-1. Now it's 1-2. Bullpen right on the field here. Folks, very close. This ballpark, John, looks tiny compared to where we just were in Colorado. I mean, it looks like we're in a junior park or something.
It really is. It is about half the size, it seems like, in terms of acreage. Foul ball, the room in foul territory, the outfield especially.
2-2. Struck him out. Strikeout number 1 for Cole. 1 out for the Cubs in the bottom of the first.
Garrett Cole, his last start in L.A. was throwing a lot of fastballs, overpowering the Dodgers at times with that fastball. And first batter of the game here, Dexter Fowler, overpowered with a high heater.
Cole now face one of the new young guns of the Cubs, Kyle Schwarber, who participated in the Futures game this year. He's out of your alma mater, John, the University of Indiana. He's a Hoosier.
And he played in the Futures game.
Yes, he did.
Oh my gosh, I had no idea.
Yes.
16 home runs, and he was in the minor leagues at the All-Star break. His foul tip right off the mask of Francisco Cervelli.
He was the best player in the Futures game, as you can imagine.
pretty remarkable. 210 at bats, 16 home runs, 43 RBIs. That's an RBI every 5 at bats.
1-1 pitch to Schwarber. There you go. Nope, says Phil Cuzzy. Schwarber is a catcher by trade. Got off to a very hot start when he first came up, 364, but then in the second half, 229. Average has gone down a bit, but the power numbers have gone up. They're trying to corner. He didn't get the same call Lester got in the first inning.
In this day and age, power is such a premium on power. Ray Searage hoping that he has a fair strike zone today.
And that's ball 4.
Schwarber has a fair amount of walks. That's his 33rd. A ton of strikeouts, and that's kind of accepted nowadays. If you get me 16 home runs, 43 RBIs, and 210 at bats, I'll take the 71 strikeouts.
Defensively for the Pirates, Aramis Ramirez back out there after sitting the last 2 games to rest a groin problem. Mercer, Harrison, and Morse around the infield. Cervelli catching, and the usual outfield of Marte, McCutchen, and Polanco. Chris Bryant batting with 1 out and 1 on. What a year he's had. 26 home runs. That's a rookie record for the Cubs. 98 RBIs. That's also a rookie record for the Cubs. Past the great Billy Williams in both of those categories. Billy had a great year in 1961 for Chicago. Set those rookie records, and they held till this year. Strike to Bryant. One of the greats in Chicago baseball history, Billy Williams. Schwarber off of first base, and Cole set to go. The 0-1. Swing and a miss. 2 strikes on Bryant. Bryant against Cole is 2 for 6. Faced him just 6 times before. Garrett the upper hand on this count. No balls, 2 strikes. 1 out and 1 on.
Pretty good take there. Good hard slider from Garrett Cole. Bryant able to lay off of it. It might sound odd to hear. As you see there, good location. But Garrett Cole, I believe, his fastball better now than it was when he first came to the Pirates. The velocity might not be as consistently up in the high 90s as Cervelli takes another one. And he says 2. It's another foul ball. And this one, he says he's okay. I think this may have gotten sounded more like helmet. Yep, top of the mask. But Garrett Cole, I think probably gets more swings and misses from his fastball now than he ever has. I mean, it has been overpowered, and that's a strike.
Boy, what's wrong with that pitch? What was wrong with that? Let's get a look.
I mean,
that's strike 3.
Wow. That's 97 with late movement, and Chris Bryant is lucky to still be in the batter's box.
Throw to first base, and diving back is Schwarber.
I don't know if there's something with Cole's delivery or if he's made any changes in the last year or so, but we're seeing more and more elevated fastballs with that movement. Just looks so heavy. And hitters just are having a hard time making contact with it.
Garrett's got to be perfect today, the way this is starting for him in terms of the strike zone he's dealing with. Anthony Rizzo waiting on deck, left-handed hitter who crowds the plate. 3-2, 1 out. See if Schwarber takes off from first. Here he goes. Bryant strikes out. Throw down. They got him. Strike him out. Throw him out. Double play to end the bottom of the first. A strike by Cole and a strike by Cervelli.
Overpowered.
Kyle Schwarber caught stealing. Cervelli threw a great pitch down there as we look at our Chick-fil-A double play to strike him out, throw him out.
Yeah, Garrett Cole just challenging Bryant, going upstairs. Cervelli, very quick release, strong, accurate throw. Pretty good jump from Schwarber, but he was looking in and just not enough speed.
Cervelli, good throw. He'll hit second this inning. And former Cub Ramis Ramirez will lead off. Lester's pitch to Ramirez. Swung on, foul back. Well, you saw the two strikeouts, John, coming on high fastballs. And his last outing with the Dodgers, he struck a number of guys out with that high fastball.
Yeah. And again, I just remember like the one thing about his rookie season, and again, pitched great, a lot of good outings. I just don't remember seeing as many swings and misses, and I remember seeing more velocity.
Addison Russell throws out Ramirez. One gone for the Pirates in the second inning. John Lester has started 3 games against the Pirates before. 2 as a Cub, 1 as a member of the Red Sox. He's 2-1 in those 3 starts. Cervelli batting .301. Cervelli had the day off yesterday. Stewart caught. 2 days ago, Cervelli ended up with a pair of hits in the same inning. He had 2 hits in the 9th after not having any in any of the prior innings. The Bucks put 6 up in the 9th on the Rockies. 13-7 win on Wednesday. What's he doing there?
Just going through his routine. We saw him yesterday, just before game time. He was out in the outfield with a bat and kind of just trying to get a feel for the hands, the trigger, the movement. Andrew probably has less movement than most in the batter's box. Almost every hitter has some sort of trigger, and that trigger being, some sort of negative momentum with their hands as they get into their stance. Andrew just has a tiny little bit. He starts those hands right there close to his right shoulder, and he takes his hands back maybe just a couple of inches. That's just a little bit of momentum. And the key for everybody, whether there's a lot of movement in the hands or a little bit, is to get the hands back early enough to get to a fastball.
Cervelli ground ball toward the middle. Addison Russell John, you can see part of the reason why he has supplanted the incumbent Starlin Castro at shortstop.
Yeah, I think Castro's had kind of a roller coaster career here in Chicago at shortstop. There's been defensive lapses. There's been concentration lapses. And so Addison Russell came up at second base. Shortstop is his natural position. They like him back at that position better. They think he's better than Castro, obviously. He's been playing short every day, and you could see why.
Michael Morse facing Lester with 2 down. Pops this pitch up. That'll make the seats over the Pirates dugout.
Rizzo didn't see it. Running in circles a bit.
Well, he's going to keep going over there. He's made a catch this year on top of that rain tarp.
It was certainly a highlight reel play that was shown over and over again on the tarp, on the wall, into the stands.
And with the wind, you never know what it's going to do with a ball hit that high in the air. So Rizzo probably thinking maybe it'll come back.
So far today, not on that side. That side, it's probably going to be pushed into the stands.
0-2 to Morse. .236 the average for Morse. You'd like another home run or two before it's all said and done. It's 5 on the year. Oh, 2 pitch. David Ross a little shaken up.
Piece of, I don't know if the ball, I thought the ball was hitting the dirt, and I don't know if a piece of clay came up and got into his eye. And the ball didn't hit him.
Yeah, something,
piece of clay
came up from the ground and got him. 2-strike pitch to Morse. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Michael.
Or the kitty litter, the diamond dry that they use all over the field. That could have been something that came up and got David Ross.
3 up and 3 down in the second for the Pirates. An inning and a half in the books, no score. Mike Tomlin press conference starting at noon on Monday. See how the Steelers fared against the St. Louis Rams this week. It's the Mike Tomlin press conference live Monday at noon on Root Sports. UPMC scoreboard, no score yet. Pirates and Cubs going to the bottom of the second inning. And John, we might be seeing more Pirates stuff at Wrigley Field than we've ever seen.
Yep.
Save Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Of course, part of it was filmed here at Wrigley Field.
Love to see the black and gold everywhere the Pirates go.
Really good contingent of fans in Colorado, and really a surprisingly good one here in Chicago. Anthony Rizzo fouls this pitch off. Rizzo is pretty close to being a 30-30 man. 30 home runs and 30 hit by pitches. He's been hit 29 times, and no surprise considering he camps out over the plate. He's in the hole 0-2. He's 0 for his last 8. Back-to-back games for Rizzo, 0 for 4.
Last half inning, we were talking about the trigger and where guys starts their hands. So Rizzo, he'll start his hands over home plate. Has a lot more movement, and then as Cole separates his hands, Rizzo starts to take his back.
To left center field. Marte calling for it, and he and McCutchen collide. But the out is recorded. That's something you don't see between those two guys ever.
Yeah, because of the wind, the ball just kept tailing further and further over towards Starling Marte. And as you see Rizzo, watch him take his hands up and back. Not a whole lot of movement, but that's just the trigger. That's just the mechanism, the timing mechanism to get Rizzo in a position to hit. Andrew McCutchen gets a giggle with Starling Marte. That's a routine play for Marte because of the way the ball was tailing towards him, plus the wind was helping push it that way.
Chris Coghlan takes down and in for ball 1. Fortunately, nobody injured.
A little bit of contact there between the left leg of McCutchen, left leg of Marte.
One strike to Coghlan.
And this is an interesting matchup. A lot of talk back in Pittsburgh, and with Chris Coghlan, obviously the slide into Jung Ho Kang, and whether or not there will be any purpose pitches towards him this weekend.
Two and one to Coghlan.
This is a slider. Looking at dart. Down and in, but Cervelli set up a way. It was supposed to be a backdoor slider. Ended up being towards the back foot of Chris Coghlan.
2-2 now to Coghlan. This is what happened back in Pittsburgh, September 17th. Jung Ho taken out by Coghlan. And your thoughts, John, on that slide?
You know, the more I look at it, obviously, I think it's just a hard play. It was just an unfortunate position that Jung Ho Kang was in. That leg was straightened out, locked up as Coghlan came in, and you know, a lot of people say, "Well, his leg was up," and when you look at the leg of Coghlan, the right leg, now the foot was down, the knee got up. It was kind of the knee that got made the contact with Jung Ho Kang, and I don't think there was any intent. It was a hard slide. You know, some think it was dirty. I have a hard time agreeing with that unless Coughlin's approach was to purposely drive his knee into Jung Ho Kang's knee. And I mean, just looking at it, I don't know if that's the case. And then obviously at the end of that, Joe Madden at the end of the day, I don't know if it was tongue-in-cheek or whatnot, made a comment that was recorded that he said, well, he didn't know anything about it, thought it was plantar fasciitis, which was very, to me, unjust and unnecessary, and I think a wrong thing to say about somebody that suffered a serious injury.
Time, I don't know how many people knew how serious the injury was, but still did not seem the appropriate thing to say. Russell bunts In a good spot. Cole will hurry, and everybody's safe. The only place Cole could really throw that one was through Russell because of the angle.
And a great play by Michael Morse here, by the way. This is a ball that Garrett Cole should not have thrown. He should have just kind of kept that ball, put it in his back pocket as he throws it. It's Morse, only because he's a giant, was able to get that glove up over Addison Russell's head and keep that from going into right field. That was a heck of a stop right there, and that's a dangerous play. You ever, sticking your arm out in front of a runner? I've seen some ugly things happen, injuries there.
Cubs have 2 on with 1 out. David Ross, the batter. And getting to a part in the batting order that could be advantageous to Garrett Cole, because Ross hitting in the 7th spot, a 185 hitter, and then John Lester, the pitcher, hitting behind him, 8th. Walk to Coghlan and a bunt base hit for Russell.
Probably goes out to put on some signs, just letting his infielders know if there's a double steal attempt where he's going to throw the ball.
A strike call. No balls and 2 strikes. 39 with runners in scoring position. That's the average for Ross. David's had somewhat of a journeyman type career. He's been around with a lot of ball clubs, including the Pirates at one point. Cervelli needs to get on the same page with Cole. They're going to hear about it from this pro Cub crowd. Gives us a chance to have you show us your strongest fan photo. We want to see them today. Use the hashtag #PittDataStrongFan. You just might see yourself in an upcoming telecast, maybe even today. It's brought to you by T-Mobile. We'll show you a photo later. Plenty of photo ops here. Pirates 93-60, 33 games over 500 for the first time since the 1991 season. And we'll have a pitch thrown here eventually. Ross wanted time. Two on, 1 out. Coghlan at second base. Russell at first. And a little ground ball slowly hit. Mercer's got one play. It's to first. And he gets Ross.
Boy, that's a heck of a play by Jordy Mercer. They agree on the sign, and that is to bust David Ross in on the hands to get weak contact, and that contact was almost too weak. As the ball dribbled out there, Mercer decides to go with the bare hand. He's as good as anybody throwing on the run, and gets Ross by a step.
Coghlan advancing to third on the play. Russell advancing to second. Here's John Lester swinging on this.
And you notice Coghlan, who always plays hard, runs hard, and that's another area I would think that I think Pirate fans should know about Coghlan. He does play hard. He is one of those guys that's never going to be jogging around the bases. The one thing about that particular play, the slow roller that Mercer made, that when you saw in the one replay, Coghlan was going hard to third, rounded third, took an aggressive turn in case something happened. If that ball short hops Morse and scoots away 8 or 10 feet, he's going to score because of that aggressive turn around third.
2 strikes to Lester. Coghlan, 2009 Rookie of the Year. Jay Happ, Tommy Hanson, Andrew McCutchen, Casey McGee, all guys beaten by Coghlan. How about that? Lester got a piece of that.
If you would have asked me to name the Rookie of the Year in that year, and Coughlin, I would have named 1,000 players before
I wouldn't have had him on the ballot.
Chris Coughlin.
Yeah, but that's the case. 2 outs and the pitch to Lester. Swung on, foul tipped into the glove of Cervelli. He strikes out. Cubs strand 2, and we'll go to the 3rd, scoreless at Wrigley.
I'm Robbie and Smikowski. Well, so far after 2 innings, the playing surface seems to be perfect and intact. That wasn't the case about a week and a half ago. AC/DC, the famous rock band, played a concert here back on September 15th. And they did so much damage to the point where the Cubs had to replace the infield grass, and the infield itself was kind of a mess. Cubs manager Joe Mann said he wasn't sure if they were wearing 9-inch heels to perform. Maybe it was the fans, but everything looks good so far. But it was a bit of a risk here for the last couple days on the playing surface here at Wrigley, Tim and John, but so far it seems to be good. The Pirates had to deal with something similar to this. Remember, back in late May, they played in San Diego a few days after Mick Jagger performed with the Rolling Stones, and no damage there, and hopefully this weekend, no damage here at Wrigley.
I wonder how the neighbors felt about the noise when AC/DC played. Some decibels there. Harrison looks at strike 1.
What I don't understand is why would you set it up on the infield grass? Usually, Major League ballparks, the way these groundskeepers take care of their sod. That was a shock that the Rolling Stones concert in San Diego was out in center field, but obviously it's not going to affect things like wood putting a stage and fans on the infield grass.
1-1 to Harrison. Josh is now in the hole, 1-2. First at bat for Harrison this afternoon. Yesterday he led off and went 2 for 5 with a pair of doubles. He scored a run also. Hayes starting at second. Pirates getting a right-handed bat against Lester. Walker sitting. Back. What makes Lester so effective? Why is he effective, even the right-handed hitter?
No, he has that good cutter, and that was the last couple pitches he's thrown to Josh Harrison. He throws it hard, and it's got good late movement. I don't want to compare it to Mark Melanson's, but you look at how effective Mark Melanson's cut fastball is. Hitters know it's coming, and they still can't hit it. Well, Lester, his cutter, similar, maybe not as effective as Melanson's. Plus, he got good velocity. Usually locates it pretty well. That's the cut fastball. Some will call it a slider because you see it has a little more downward movement than a lot of cutters. Watching it live from the center field camera, it looks, that particular cutter looked more like a slider. Curveball's pretty good, although he doesn't throw it as often.
goes full to Jay 3-2. He's able to check his swing here.
That's very close. You know, we have the advantage of having replays. Umpires don't. I would almost say that may have been more of an offer than Marte's attempt at a check swing back in the first.
Harrison with 8 pitches in this at bat. He'll have a 9th, much like Polanco did in the first inning. Working the count, and working the pitch count of John Lester. Payoff. Jay hits this one in the air to left. Schwarber over to get it. 1 out. It's 7 in a row set down by Lester to start the game.
Right there, I mean, it looked like Jay had a pretty good swing at that particular cutter, but it just kept running in where he couldn't get barrel to it, just below the barrel.
Jordy Mercer up now. And he hits this one well to left center field. That ball headed for the basket. It's into the ivy and stuck there for a double. Came down just below the basket, that juts out, and then stuck in the ivy.
Let's see the location. The fastball pretty much up middle of the plate. Jordy Mercer is a great fastball hitter, and he's been swinging the bat well. You see there that trigger again. He gets his hands back early, his foot's down, and the only thing keeping this ball from landing in the basket or above was that breeze we've talked about. That makes that much of a difference. You know, that's a home run if the wind's turned the other way.
Total number 20 for Jordy. Pirates with a man in scoring position, 1 out. Garrett Cole at the plate. Cole will swing away. Strike 1. Eight for 56 on the season. That's up the middle. That's a base hit. Mercer around third. He'll score, and Garrett Cole drives in the first run of the ball game. It's 1-0 Pirates.
We talk about the big game pitcher that Garrett Cole is. He's a big game competitor. I don't know if there's a pitcher in baseball that's as competitive as Garrett Cole. It doesn't matter if he's on the mound, on the bases, or in the batter's box, and he's up there looking to drive the ball. He swung and missed at the cutter. Gets a fastball, good location, up and in. Stays inside. Just gets it past the diving Russell.
Second RBI of the year for Cole. Still 1 out. Gregory Polanco up. Outside ball 1. Polanco worked a 9-pitch at bat before flying out to Dexter Fowler in center field in the first. He's hit it 5 straight. Second time around for him today. So the Pirates strike first against the Cubs in this series.
One guy I don't think is going to try to steal off Lester.
Probably not.
Lester did pick a guy off his last start. A quick step off and throw over. I want to say it was Johnny Peralta of the Cardinals who was on first base, had a big lead, looked to be moving on first move, and Lester stepped off the back of the rubber and got him.
He got Marte stealing in the series back at PNC Park. He threw to Rizzo, came off the bag, and then Rizzo threw down to second to get Marte. Only 4 pickoff throws attempted all season. So his pickoff percentage pretty good. 50%. But he's only tried 4 throws, and 2 of those throws ended up not in Rizzo's glove.
Right.
Threw him away. That time he doesn't get that call. He got the call on Polanco in the first. That was a strike 2 pitch on Polanco that time. This time he doesn't get it.
The Mason strike zone says off the plate.
The payoff pitch now. Ross hangs on and Polanco out on strikes. Foul tip.
That pitch to me looks more like the natural cutter. It's a little harder, and you just see it just kind of slides away from the left-handed hitting Polanco. And again, sometimes with the righties you see a little less velocity, a little more downward movement. And that one just cut just enough away from Gregory.
Starling Marte is 0 for 1. See him stay hot. Just completed one of the best series you're ever going to see a player have against another team. And a ground ball to the right side with Stella there. Pirates get a run on 2 hits. They leave a man. 2.5. It's the Bucks 1, Cubs nothing.
Is brought to you by the Chevy Cruze and your Western PA Chevy dealers. And by Day Automotive. We're going to make your day. Let's go Bucks.
Here's our Day Automotive this day in Pirates history. This date, 1932, the Pirates finished up their season with a doubleheader against the Redbirds. Game 1, Paul Wainer hit 2 doubles, his 62nd and 63rd of the year, setting a new National League record. Dave Darby had 4 RBIs as the Bucks beat the Cards 7-1. Game 2, Dizzy Dean hurled a complete game for St. Louis. They beat the Pirates 7-4. They split a doubleheader. 1-0 Pirates, bottom of the 3rd inning. Garrett Cole driving in Jordy Mercer. After Mercer's double gets stuck in the ivy. Now Cole out to pitch. 9-1-2 due up for the Cubs. Tommy LaStella, the second baseman, will lead off. Mercer picked up his 20th double of the season. That was the first hit off of John Lester. First pitch into LaStella. 1-0. Stella had a good series in Pittsburgh.
Every time I get a glimpse of a Cubs game, he's up and he hits the ball hard.
1-0 pitch. Up high, 2 balls and no strikes. Cole already with 2 walks today. Did not have a walk in his last start against the Dodgers. Stella, bouncing ball chest high to Morse, and there's one out.
Stella on an 8-game hitting streak. And that's hard to do when you're not playing every day, when you're not in the lineup because you're pinch hitting. At that 8-game hitting streak, he's 9 for 15. Well, now 9 for 16. Well, that's not part of the streak, but 8 for 15. I mean, it's basically meaning every time you get a pinch hit appearance, you're getting a hit.
He needs to cool off. Temperatures starting to cool off here too. 68 degrees at game time today. Dexter Fowler takes upstairs. He struck out in the first inning. Tiny bit overcast, but not really threats. Just kind of cloudy. Wind blowing in from Lake Michigan.
We've had great weather this month of September. It seems everywhere we've gone, whether it be at PNC Park or on the road. Not much rain. Unseasonably warm.
Point Park University tweets at the bottom of the screen reacting to Garrett Cole's base hit. I'm just thinking right now we're about 30 degrees cooler than we were on Sunday. Sunday in Los Angeles, the game time temperature was 97. Fowler, it's a high fly ball. Gregory Polanco looking up into the sky. The wind has it, and Polanco makes the catch and has to brace himself against the padded wall.
You can never give up on it in this ballpark with the wind. And if it's in the infield, you come and help if you're an infielder. Don't just stand around and watch, because that wind will take the ball places. See, going in probably maybe a little bit more from left to right. Can't give up on it.
2 outs, bases empty for Kyle Schwarber. There's strike one. Schwarber walked and then was part of a strike him out, throw him out double play. He was the one who was thrown out. Chris Bryant struck out, and there's strike two. Nice pitch by Cole at 97 miles an hour. Popped him up. Mercer finding the sun. And he'll make the catch, and it's a 1-2-3 bottom of the third. 3 up and 3 down for the Cubs. We'll head to inning number 4. Pirates 1, Cubs nothing. Saturday, October 3rd at 7:05. Stay after the game for a Zambelli fireworks show. And everyone takes home great prizes on an Eaton Park Scratch and Win Saturday. Plus, all fans take home a 2016 Pirates magnetic schedule. Thanks to PNC Bank. For tickets, go to pirates.com. UPMC scoreboard: 1 run, 2 hits for the Pirates. No runs, 1 hit for the Cubs. Top of the 4th with John Wehner. I'm Tim Neverett. Robbie Inch-Mikowski with us as well. As the Bucks winners of 6 straight. Can't look at streaks this time of year, can you, John? It is really the definition of day to day.
I mean, it's nice to have a winning streak, but yeah, you're right. It doesn't matter what transpired yesterday. Today's all that matters. And obviously, this is a big series, and you want to win this series, but you can't win a series without today. It's win today, go from there.
1-1 to Andrew McCutchen. He flied to center field in the first inning. 0 for 1 today. Clint Hurdle was asked about facing John Lester and the Cubs today. He said it's a great opportunity for us. He always looks at it like it's an opportunity to face a good pitcher that you can try to do well against. He said we need to hit mistakes, we need to spike his pitch count, and we need to get on base and run.
Yeah.
In the air to center.
Boy, that's a bomb any other day.
And Fowler will haul it in for an out.
And Andrew knows that he's frustrated because he hit that ball well. Unfortunately, man, he got extended. He got it out there. That's a mistake. And days like today, pitchers get away with those types of mistakes.
Everybody who spends a lot of time at Wrigley Field will tell you this is like 2 different ballparks. One with the wind blowing out, one with it blowing in. It plays like a completely different park.
And it doesn't have to be, gusting either. Just a breeze will hold the ball up.
Well, 1 to Ramirez. Ramos out front. 0-2. But it is kind of the beauty of Major League Baseball. The park we just left has its own characteristics that are unique in Denver and the other parts also, including PNC Park. That's why they call it home field advantage.
Yep.
Ramirez chases one and strikes out.
And I do believe that the pitchers in this ballpark, the Cubs pitchers, have an advantage because they could pitch and know what can happen is he gets Ramirez chasing that fastball just off the plate. For instance, today you don't have to be as fine. You can let them hit the ball in the air. You can make mistakes up in the zone. Maybe you take that approach more so today than you would when the wind's blowing out. When the wind's blowing out, you want to make sure that they're hitting it on the ground. You might keep the ball down and away to where they can't pull a ball in the air.
Francisco Liriano will pitch tomorrow afternoon. It is a noon start here in Chicago, 1 Eastern, 1 Pittsburgh time. And a breaking ball in for a strike to Cervelli. 0-2. Francisco grounded out to the shortstop Russell in the second. Russell made a nice play on it too, as that ball was headed more toward the middle than right at the shortstop. I'd like to say hello to the Pirates employees who have a watch party going on at PNC Park right now in the Bowtie Bar. Done such a great job this year. And also the Pirates employees down in Bradenton watching us at a watch party there.
Yeah, I think it's easy. We talk so much about giving all these players credit, the coaches and Clint Hurdle, obviously, and then we talk endlessly about Neil Huntington and his staff and the great work they've done. But there's a ton of people, hundreds of Pirate employees that work awfully hard to make your experience better.
2-2. Cervelli in the air to center. Fowler blocking the sun with his glove. He makes the catch. Pirates go 1-2-3 in the top of the fourth. We join the Pirates players for some off-field fun as they fly to Colorado dressed up as their favorite superheroes. That and more inside Pirates baseball, presented by Allegheny Health Network, tonight after Pirates postgame on Root Sports. That's outside Wrigley Field. Some of the sidewalk art that's available. You need the bricks, though, to hold them down. It's on Sheffield Ave, one of the avenues that surrounds Wrigley Field. You even have a Toledo Mud Hens fan here. All kinds of baseball fans on hand today. Bottom of the fourth inning, 1-0 Pirates. Chris Bryant leading off against Garrett Cole. First ball swinging, pops it up, Wynn's got it. As Morse chases it to the rail, but wind will blow it in the seats.
A group of Pirate fans, everywhere you look. The sun been peeking in and out here the last inning or so.
To Bryant. Bryant hit his 26th home run Tuesday. Pitch upstairs. As many of the accolades as folks can run out there about Chris Bryant, we've heard him. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Big guy, the ability to hit the ball out to right, center, or left. Probably way more to the right of center than left of center.
Cole's 2-2 in the dirt, 3-2. Bryant pushing 100 RBIs, needs 2 more. And the National League has not had a rookie have 100 RBI since Ryan Zimmerman of the Nationals in 2006.
Wow, 15 of the 26 homers out to right, just 6 to left.
3-2, that's ripped into left field. And Bryant aboard with a base hit. Second hit off of Cole. The first one was a bunt base hit by Addison Russell. And
Fastball wanted it away, ended up running in. And again, even though the approach may be to hit the ball the other way, he has the quickness, the bat speed to turn on the above average fastball on that inside corner.
Nobody out, runner aboard. Anthony Rizzo at the plate. He fly to left in the second. Rizzo's 0 for his last 9, but with a player like that, you know that streak's going to stop at some point. You just hope it doesn't hurt you.
Pretty remarkable the season he's having with the approach that he takes. Get on the plate and look to pull the ball. He will hit the ball the other way on occasion, but he looks to turn on everything. Cervelli wanted that one. So did Garrett Cole, as he gives an extra long look in. A two-seam fastball. A late movement. It starts off the plate. Does it catch the corner? So close.
2 balls and a strike. Rizzo has done an unbelievable job against the Central Division this season. He leads in runs scored with 49. He's tied with Todd Frazier, the Reds, for the most home runs against Central Division opponents with 16. He has 49 runs batted in. That's tops. Second behind only Matt Carpenter, the Cardinals, in extra base hits with 34. Carpenter has 39. Garrett falling behind. 3 balls and a strike to Rizzo. This one is flared into shallow right field. That's going to drop, and Bryant will head to third base. And the Cubs have the tying run 90 feet away with nobody out.
And sometimes the wind blowing in will help you as a hitter. Is a good read by Bryant, by the way, on the bases. You know, Rizzo with the big leg kick. He's tied up. He hits it deep below the label. A jam shot. And now the wind's pushing it back in towards the infield to where an outfielder can't come to it. Rizzo. All hits don't have to be pretty. Knows that that's a big hit and good base running by Bryant, knowing that that ball wasn't going to be caught.
Cubs threatening with nobody out. Chris Coghlan is the batter. He walked his first time up. Takes a strike here. Coghlan is hitless over his last 3 games. Bryant at third, Rizzo at first, the 0-1. Cervelli held that a long time. He wanted that one called a strike.
I think that was similar to the pitch that Rizzo took just off the plate in. Further in than the pitch to Rizzo.
Strike 2 to Coghlan.
To revisit the whole Coghlan thing and whether there should be a purpose pitch, and again, yeah, maybe you do want to protect Jung Ho Kang and sit there and send a message. A couple things to consider. One is, if you thought it was a dirty slide, he had 3 at bats after the Jung Ho injury, and so is it worse because the injury's worse, and so you do it a week later in the next series? That's one thing to consider. I mean, if you thought it was dirty then you could have maybe sent a message in that ball game as Coghlan came to the plate 3 more times. The other thing to consider is now you're a week later, and let's say you want to send the message and hit him in the thigh or in the belt. Well, then the Cubs might take exception to that and then retaliate against an Andrew McCutchen, and maybe you get an Andrew McCutchen hurt or Starling Marte hurt. And so, those are things you have to consider, especially this late in the season.
Cole throws it right by Coghlan and strikes him out.
And that sends a message just as well, too. Let's just rear back and, strike him out in a huge situation. First and third, nobody out. That's what you want. You want to get the big strike out. And Garrett Cole with his firmest fastball of the afternoon, 98, and it was well by Coghlan.
Addison Russell, the batter. Bunt base hit in the second. First and third, one out. And Russell hits a ground ball to short. Mercer to Harrison to first. 1-1.
Wasn't hit hard enough.
Fielder's choice and an RBI for Addison Russell.
Went with the breaking ball, and Russell was out in front off the end of the bat, and because of that, the ball just doesn't get to Jordy Mercer quick enough.
Back to square one here in Chicago. Ross takes barely outside for ball one. Strike. Well, you figure you got to get more than a run anyway.
Oh yeah. I mean, what are you going to do? I mean, it's baseball. You get a ball hit hard, you get a bloop, and a ground ball that wasn't hit hard enough. That's just the game.
Ball and 2 strikes to Ross.
Obviously, a very potent Chicago Cubs lineup. Shutting them out is quite the chore. You might have a better chance of limiting them offensively on a day like today where the ball's not going to carry, especially when you have a guy like Cole on the mound that is overpowering.
The only solid contact has been off the bat of Chris Bryant. Everything else has been real soft. First, Russell jumps back to the base. Russell doesn't run very much. Just 2 stolen bases in 5 attempts. Ross strikes out. Cubs get a run on 2 hits. They tie it. They'll head to the 5th, even at 1. Choice by Addison Russell. Bryant scoring from third. It's a 1-1 game. Heading to the top of the 5th. And as we move forward now, 3 teams in the central race. This is what's left. The Cardinals in Milwaukee again tonight. Then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday at PNC Park in a don't miss series. Then they finish up with the Braves, who've had a miserable season. Pirates, Cubs, Cardinals back to back, and then the Reds. Kansas City, you see, for the Cubs, 1 game. They've got to fly to Kansas City to make up 1 interleague rainout. Then the Reds and Brewers. Beg your pardon, the Kansas City game is here. But still, they have to play 1 game against the American League Central Division champs who clinched last night. 1-1 ball game. Michael Morse leading off the 5th against John Lester. Lester's one of those guys who does have a game-changing swing. He showed it in the playoffs last year with the Giants. Just has to hit it right with his strength. And you earlier called him a giant. He literally played for the Giants last year, but he's a human giant, and he drives one here to right field. That's down for a hit.
He gets his share. Base hits the other way.
And the Cardinals coming in Monday, and your Bucks need you to pack PNC Park as they make a push for the division title. The last regular season homestand starts Monday. Features can't miss National League Central showdowns with the Cardinals and the Reds. Get tickets with the Stretch Run special for only $25. $10 loaded value on your ticket. You can use it at the concession stand. Get them while supplies last. Go to pirates.com/stretch. Take advantage of that special. And they're loading $10 onto your ticket too, folks. So you can use that to get extra food or whatever is available to you at PNC Park. Ball 1 to Josh. Harrison flied to left in the 3rd. 0 for 1.
Talk over how to approach Josh Harrison. David Ross with that pitch away might be thinking, hey, you keep working him away. There's a big hole in that right side. And he might try to shoot it through.
When Ross and Lester meet, is that a partners meeting? Because they are a package deal here.
How nice is that if you're David Ross?
Where Lester goes, you can go work. Harrison drives it to left field. Schwarber over. He dives and makes the catch. That ball just wouldn't sit down. Schwarber, a really good play to retire Josh Harrison.
That is a great play, especially in these conditions, because I think, he's a catcher and playing in left field. The angle to the ball is what's most impressive. Is the ball, when that's hit, I think a lot of corner outfielders will have a tendency to want to go with a deeper route to keep the ball from going to the wall, especially with the wind blowing in. That ball is dying as it goes there, and Schwarber took a perfect angle to it.
Josh robbed of a hit. He's now 0 for 2. Jordy Mercer doubled and scored in the 3rd. Morse at first, 1 out. 1 ball to Jordy Mercer. And with Morse at first, he's not really a typical base stealer, but you can run on Lester. And what would it be like, John, to be taking the lead at first base, knowing that this left-handed pitcher is not going to throw over there?
I mean, it doesn't mean they can't throw you out if you're not a fast runner. Would not be surprised, though. Well, maybe not as much now with a 1-1, but you see a 1-0 count or maybe a 2-1 count. Maybe put a hit and run on, knowing that first move Lester is not throwing over there. I know a couple of times ago, PNC Park, I mean, Lester can be quicker to the plate. In fact, Andrew McCutchen was thrown out trying to steal because Lester shortened his delivery. Just like there, he didn't have as high of a leg kick. He was quicker to home plate. And when he does that, it gives David Ross enough time to throw down the second. But that doesn't mean this situation here. It's a good hit and run count. Again, Lester won't throw over once he picks that right foot up.
Three and 1 to Jordy. John Lester, 3-time All-Star. Boston Red Sox, Oakland Athletics, and now the Chicago Cubs, 13. Mercer will take a strike. He thought it was ball 4.
Take a look at the pitch. Looks maybe up top of the zone outside corner.
Cole on deck. There is the payoff. Morse takes off, and Jordy fouls it back. Morse getting a head start with 1 out and a full count, trying to stay out of the double play.
And it's a lot easier to send a runner on a 3-2 count against Lester because he will not throw over. He will stay, like I said, he's done it a couple of times in recent starts where he stepped off the back of the rubber and thrown over. But once he starts his delivery, he does not have that move towards first.
Morse with a huge lead, and Mercer fouls it off again.
And a guy like Morse, not stealing many bases, but you see him extending that lead over there at first, and I'm sure it's not a very comfortable feeling for most guys because they get their set lead and they're comfortable with that lead to take such a big lead, like an extra 3-4 feet.
Mercer hanging in there. And Morse getting his running work in.
Quick 20-yard sprints.
Morse will get the lead out just a little bit past the cut.
We've seen a couple pitches where he would keep sneaking off, maybe another half step. That's a big lead. That's a huge lead.
Mercer ground ball left side. Bryant will have one play. So starting Morse keeps the Pirates out of the double play and gets the go-ahead runner in scoring position. Today's leading RBI man, Garrett Cole, coming to the plate.
Yeah, Garrett Cole with the big base hit in the third. And see if he can do it again.
Raised his average all the way from 143 to 158 with his 9th base hit of the year. See about another. Pulls a foul.
Turn it around. Getting it started early. It's 94 in Cole throwing that bat head out there.
Throw down to second base, and Morse gets back. Ross trying to surprise Morse.
The Zine play obviously put this play on before the pitch is thrown, and you have to make sure, if you're David Ross, that when you call this pitch, that John Lester is going to throw it out of the strike zone. If he throws that in there for a strike and Cole turns on it and hits a dribbler to short, it's a run.
Inside corner for a called strike.
I've always think catchers are kind of crazy for making that call when you open up, especially the whole left side of your infield. I don't care if it's Garrett Cole. Garrett Cole just showed you that he could pull the ball on the ground. And so we put that play on. If Cole gets a strike, it could cost you.
Michael Morse left at second base. Cole strikes out. Home half of the 5th when we return.
Ball on Root Sports is brought to you by Allegheny Health Network. Health for all. By Kenny Ross. Just ask a neighbor. And by Levin's, the official furniture and mattress supplier of the Pittsburgh Pirates. For the best quality, service, and value, shop Levin's. Let's go Bucks!
Bottom of the 5th inning. A packed house at Wrigley Field today. Some places standing room only. One run and one run. That's the count. That's the score count. And John Lester leads off, takes a strike against Garrett Cole. Pirates struck first in the 3rd inning. A Mercer double and a Cole base hit. And then 2 hits to start the inning for the Cubs in the 4th. And Chris Bryant at 3rd. A fielder's choice by Addison Russell got him in to tie it. Lester struck out in the 2nd. Still with 2 strikes on him.
He's like a notoriously bad hitter. John Lester. It's not that bad a swing, though. It looks like he has an idea what he's doing up there.
Lines this one out of play down the left field side. Well, it's always interesting to think about John. I mean, he's a really good pitcher, and the Cubs gave him $150 million. They committed that much money to him, but doesn't hit, won't throw to first.
Yep.
Has to have a personal catcher. And he strikes out for the 2nd time. He knew it, one gone. But it's what he does with the baseball in his hand, delivering it to home plate. That's what's made him his money.
Yeah, again, we talked about it in the open. John Lester, you look back at his career in Boston, and man, he put up some impressive numbers, very impressive numbers. Again, maybe one of the best in baseball from the left side. The Cubs think he would, obviously, that he's worth it, and that he's going to pay huge dividends. Obviously, he's shown it this year after a rough start. And they expect him to, well, they do. We're hoping, obviously, that it doesn't happen, but they expect him to be a factor in the postseason in his time here.
Garrett Cole gets ahead of the 2nd baseman, Tommy La Stella, 0-2.
I just hope that, when he requests his personal catcher, David Ross, that he, negotiates for Ross and gets him a couple extra bucks.
You'd think that would be the right thing to do. But David's not getting any younger either.
No.
A little flare and foul ground. Ramirez chasing it, and he makes the catch right by the Cub bullpen, and there are 2 down. That's a little scary area over there because that wall juts out right around that home plate area of the bullpen. You got to watch the ball and know where that is, but Ramirez is very familiar with this part.
Yeah. Since Ron Santo, I'm guessing nobody's played more 3rd than Ramirez. I could be wrong, but yeah, you're right. He's definitely familiar with all the nooks and crannies.
Two outs. Dexter Fowler waves and misses. Theo Epstein, the architect of this rebuilding Cubs team, came over from Boston. Of course, Lester was working for Epstein while a member of the Red Sox. David Ross was there too. Reunited with their former boss. I don't think they were the only ones. I think there's a few others around the Cub organization who were with Boston also. Another close pitch just off the plate. 2-1 to Fowler.
No surprise they're working him away. Came in on him his last at bat where he turned on a fastball up and in and hit it out to right. Pop up.
Tip for strike 2. And Lester will probably not have a long break here. Pitching and then leading off the inning. 2 outs and the 2-2 pitch to Fowler. Strike 3. Garrett gets him again. 2 more strikeouts in the inning. We head to inning number 6 at Wrigley Field. All tied at 1. And photo of the game brought to you by T-Mobile. Look at the license plate from Ann. R. Let's go Bucks. Nice. It's a very piratey type of license plate. One of a kind in Pennsylvania. He's one of a kind also. 7 strikeouts through 5 innings for Garrett Cole. Multiple strikeouts in the first, in the 4th, and again in the 5th. Remember we first came here this year, John, and there were all the construction cranes and the bleachers weren't open. Yeah. I mean, this place was a mess.
It was a mess.
And now it is packed and as lively as it's ever been. Gregory Polanco to lead off. Shows bunt. Takes outside. For 2. Lined out to center and then struck out. Foul tipping a ball into David Ross's glove in the 3rd. Takes a strike here. 1-1. Polanco hasn't hit all that well at Wrigley Field yet. His average this year at Wrigley Field, .063. Off speed pitch. Curveball got Polanco to swing early.
Big bender. Now, this may sound weird, but like at certain ballparks as a hitter, it feels like the pitcher's mound's closer. And this, I think, is one of them because there's not much foul ground. I mean, you're pretty close to the dugout. Not a lot of room behind home plate. And you know, everything's like more compact. So I know some players playing here at Wrigley, it felt like the mound was right on top of you. And I've heard pitchers say the same thing. They feel like they're right on top of the hitter. And then you go to places like where we just were, Dodger Stadium. Used to be a lot more room around home plate. They put some added seats behind home plate, so it's not as big. But in Denver as well, Coors Field, a lot of room. So it almost feels like the pitcher's mound's further away when you get into the batter's box.
2-2. Polanco swings and misses at the curveball again. And there's 1 out. Second time Polanco's gone down on strikes.
Yeah, that curveball again. He dangles it out there. It looks like a strike out of the hand. You know, you're thinking you have to protect. It might stay in the zone, but the sharp, hard break gets the chase.
Polanco's worked some extended at bats. Harrison worked him for an extended at bat. 81 pitches for Lester. And Marte Pops up the bunt, puts it right in the glove of Rizzo. And a quick out. 2 gone in the 6th. Well, he was trying to get that on the ground right past the pitcher's mound with Lester falling off toward third, right?
Yes, if you get it on the ground, then you have to make Rizzo field it. You feel like you can beat Lester to the bag, and that's the idea. And unfortunately, he wasn't able to get on top of it. It's almost like you almost want to bunt it towards the second baseman to where he's not going to be able to come in and make a play. You get Rizzo to vacate, and you race the pitcher.
Which took the fastball, and it's 0-1. One ball, one strike. Seemed to you like the wind's picked up blowing in?
It feels up here at least. Papers weighted down.
Flags, always take a look at the flags, but you can hear the wind. It's right above the press box here. See the wind direction coming in.
Did Andrew almost look like he started walking towards first after he took that, or was he just stepping out of the way of the curveball?
I thought he was stepping out of the way.
It's 2 balls, obviously, 2-2.
Still 2-2. Bob has told me a number of times that when he was pitching in Chicago, he'd step outside the hotel, check the wind before he even got here, and he knew what kind of game it was going to be.
Yeah.
Two strikeouts in the inning. McCutchen 0 for 3. On to the bottom of the 6th. From the rooftops either at Stage AE October 11th. Good ball game so far, 1-1, bottom of the 6th inning. Garrett Cole has 7 strikeouts. John Lester has 6. Pirates with a single run in the 3rd. The Cubs got one in the 4th. Standing room on top of the rooftops today.
with the new big scoreboards here. There's a lot of going back and forth over with the rooftop owners, and so it's eliminated a couple of the buildings with the seating on top. I like the way they did it, though. I think it's really cool. The scoreboards and like the you know, it kind of looks old school, like the shade of green, kind of the same throughout the ballpark. Scoreboard kind of looks old school for a video board.
It's added a new dimension to this old place.
And I'm sure if there were some fans that were, you know, didn't like the idea and they come to enough games, I'm sure they like it now. I mean, it's past time.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. I like looking out there and seeing that, seeing some information out there sometimes, because for years you just had the manually operated scoreboard to rely on in the outfield. There's a diving attempt by Harrison. It's off his glove as Schwarber hits a rope on the ground to right field.
Tough little in-between hop for J-Hay to handle. It's hard to hit a ball between Morse and J-Hay because of where he was playing. Harrison's so deep in the right. You see the kind of alligator arm that pulled those hands in. High fastball, and you see the in-between hop there. If J-Hay gets that ball on its way down before that second hop, he makes the play.
Chris Bryant is 1 for 2. He has scored the lone Cub run. That's the reason that the Pirates will play the second baseman out there. But again, it was that hop. What's the craziest atmosphere you can remember in here? The best atmosphere? Was it when you were the Marlins?
I mean,
3-0.
As far as being a player, I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, some fans are a little more. Some days there's a little more. Both those pitchers pretty close to being in the zone. I've always got a sense that this play, they were always festive. It was always more fun when the place was packed. But there were so many years where they weren't very good and it wasn't packed, and then the fans just came out to have a good time and to get on the opposing team. And now, obviously, they have a lot to cheer about. Good young team heading into the postseason.
A full count on Bryant. Rizzo on deck, nobody out. Schwarber the runner at first base. 1-1 game. And Cervelli talking to Cole, trying to figure out how they can get Bryant out, maybe even get 2. They got 2 in the first on a strike him out, throw him out, with Schwarber taking off for second base. And Bryant striking out. Cole with a payoff pitch coming to Chris Bryant. Struck him out. Second time Cole has whiffed Chris Bryant today, and there's 1 out.
And you notice now that Bryant he gets a lot of strikeouts. I mean, he strikes out a lot. That's number 188 on the year for Bryant. That fastball catches a lot of plate, but look at the movement. The late run breaks into the inner third of the plate. Joe Madden elects to keep Schwarber there at first base with his big cleanup hitter Rizzo due up, and good thing for Madden. Good chance that would end up in another double play.
Pretty good looking pitch there to Rizzo, called the ball. I mean, Tony Randazzo today was pretty much right on the edges. Not giving much. He gave one to Lester in the first inning, but that's pretty much been it. Swing and a miss there. And it's a ball and a strike to Rizzo. Rizzo fisted one into right field with Bryant aboard in the fourth. One. 2 balls and a strike.
8 miles per hour. And we usually see the top velocity from Cole when you get later in the game.
This year, Rizzo is at .403 against the Pirates. And this one hit well to left, but playable for McCutchen. He calls it. And that's out number 2.
I said it earlier in the game. McCutchen hit a ball that would have been out of here if it wasn't for the wind blowing in. For that matter, I think the Pirates hit 3 balls this afternoon that would have been out if it wasn't for the wind blowing in. Right here, Rizzo, I think the same thing. He has the power to go the other way. The wind's blowing it in. It becomes a routine pop-up.
2 outs, and Chris Coghlan will be the batter. Pirates still chasing those Cardinals. Bucks refusing to lose lately, and so it goes for St. Louis. They fell down 3-0 to Milwaukee yesterday, 1-7-3. They'll play again tonight.
Goes at Ryan, 97, challenging him. By the way, that Bryant strikeout number 8 on the day, correct? So Cole with 200 strikeouts on the year. You see where that pitch ended up.
Yeah, both he and Lester came in with the same number of strikeouts, 192. So 200 Ks for Garrett Cole. Ground ball to Jordy Mercer. They'll throw on to first base to retire Coghlan. Leadoff base hit by Schwarber. He doesn't move. And we move to inning number 7. Friday, October 2nd at 7:05. The first 20,000 fans get a Pirates t-shirt. Compliments of Service Link. Enjoy food, live entertainment, and the Lion Kugel Bar before the game at the Friday Night Block Party on Federal Street, presented by Barrel Automotive. For tickets, go to pirates.com/free shirt Friday. A.J. Burnett, the only other right-handed pitcher in Pirates history with 200 strikeouts in a season. Garrett Cole joins him with a strikeout of Chris Bryant this afternoon on a very breezy day in Chicago, wind blowing in from the lake. Aramis Ramirez will lead off against John Lester in the 7th.
Oh, that pitch, because Ross missed it, it's called a ball. That may be as much down the middle as any pitch you're going to see that's called a ball. And David Ross, my bad. No, actually, I thought it was like splitting the plate in half.
It's still a strike. And we'll take this one.
I mean, it looked like when Ross went off his glove, it looked like he was like right down the middle of the plate.
Big cut there, 1-2. Ramirez against left-handed pitchers this year, hitting .202. Ropes this one down the left field line into the corner. Ramirez around first, and he will head to second base with a double. Stop there.
Yep, nicely done, and taking it easy. Ramirez, as well as anybody, knows his body. He's been around a long time. Obviously, missing a couple of games with the strained groin. I don't know if it was a strain, but obviously discomfort in the groin. So he just kind of took it easy. Nicely done, hard hit ball, and once it gets down there near the ivy, nothing you can do as an outfielder. Just get it in, try to keep the runner from going to third.
Double number 30 for Ramirez. Pedro Strop getting up. Joe Madden getting a right-hander up in a 1-1 game in the 7th. The pitch count for Lester getting up there, 92. Now the infield will have a discussion. All the departments meeting on the mound. Looked like David Ross conducting that meeting. Cole has driven in the only Pirate run today with a single in the 3rd inning.
And, no surprise, we are going to get a pinch run. Even though the Pirates not with the lead here, I mean, this is an important run, and thinking that Ramirez, I would think, would have to almost be station to station. A base hit in the outfield, I'm not sure if he'd be able to score. So, Clint Hurdle going with the pinch runner.
Keon Broxton, this is his role now with the club. He'll be the first pinch runner off the bench. And Cervelli bunts. That ball will hit the grass. And Cervelli out at first base, but he gets Broxton to third.
And that's what I was wondering about. When the Cubs met on the mound, Cervelli went down to talk to Rick Sofield, and that's what I was thinking, whether or not they were discussing a sacrifice. And obviously Cervelli does not get on top, but had a lot of room over there as Bryant was even with the bag, couldn't catch it in the air. And so it makes sense you go with a pinch runner, because in a sacrifice situation, without a good bunt, you don't know if Ramirez can make it to third.
Broxton representing the go-ahead run. Cubs infield is in for Michael Morse. Morse a base hit in the 5th inning. He's 1 for 2, struck out back in the 2nd. Inside 1-1.
Morris, the big man with the big strong arms and long arms, they're, I think, going to try to crowd him here to try to keep him from getting extended and hitting the ball to the outfield.
Ross had set up more toward the outer half, and that's where the ball went. It's 1-2.
That's kind of the pitch. You have to get a ball in the air. More likely to do it the opposite way. That may have been the best pitch that Morse is going to see.
Ball and 2 strikes to Morse. Two and 2. Lester pushing 200 innings. He has thrown 200 innings in 3 straight seasons, 6 of the last 7. Not quite there yet this year. And Morse a base hit, and the Pirates take the lead. The second hit of the afternoon for Michael Morse scores the pinch runner Broxton, and the Pirates up 2-1.
That's a big hit. Michael Morse has come up with a bunch of big hits already as a Pittsburgh Pirate. And it looks like he's going to be pinch run for 2 as Sean Rodriguez out. And they try to crowd him again. Boy, how about that? Talk about getting inside. That pitch is almost on the inside corner, and Morse pulls the hands in. Splits that right side between Rizzo and the second baseman, Estella.
Nice job by Morse. He'll finish the day 2 for 3. Jay Haley with 1 out at the plate takes a strike. Pirates in the lead again for Garrett Cole. Sean Rodriguez will pinch run, then he'll go into first base. This one down the line, foul. $100 pitches now for Lester. Lester resting his chin up against his glove. A signature for him. Fouls it off. Ready for a question from Twitter, Rock? Point Park University tweet. The exquisite Zodiac wants to know, what does John mean when he describes a batter as staying inside?
Well, essentially, when a batter hits, the hands will start to swing. The hands start the barrel of the bat to the ball. And when your hands...
There goes. This one popped up, and Sean doesn't know it.
Yeah, we're going to have to answer that question in the next half inning because that's going to be an inning-ending double play.
That is a unassisted double play for Anthony Rizzo. Pirates get the go-ahead run. We're at the stretch. Harrison moves from second base over to third base with Ramirez coming out of the ball game. And Neil Walker enters the game at second. And over at first base, Sean Rodriguez. And John, staying inside, we wanted to answer that Twitter question that came in just before the double play.
And when you look at this hit by Michael Morse, his hands are literally in front of the barrel of the ball. or the barrel of the bat at contact. You'll see here the hands come first and then the barrel, and so the hands are inside the barrel of the baseball at the contact point, and when you're staying inside, that means your hands are starting your swing. At times I think when hitters get too long, we'll say it's a long swing, or they came around the ball, or they pulled off the ball. That's typically when the front shoulder starts to swing. You start flying open, and then the barrel gets out in front of the hands.
Addison Russell pops it up. Neil Walker drifting with the wind makes the catch. Russell is out, and he's now 1 for 3.
That's Jeff Branson, Jeff Livesey, always working with these hitters. That's Tommy Prince and Jeff Livesey. Tommy Prince, you see Branson on the right side of Livesey, but all those guys working endlessly with these guys on their mechanics and their maintenance, and more times than not, when these guys are working in the cage before the game, they're doing front side flips, and what they're working on is staying up the middle, staying the opposite way, which works the hands, makes the hands start to swing.
There's a little dance in the dugout. Pinch hitter for the Cubs is Starlin Castro. He will hit for David Ross. And then Jorge Soler is in the on-deck circle. He'll come up after that. So Joe Madden now going to the bench. And Castro takes a strike. Castro, 264 hitter. Fouls it back, and it's 0-2. Story in the Chicago papers today about, well, not that guy, but you might want to write a story about him. But about Castro and Aramis Ramirez, how they keep in close touch. Ramirez, former teammate, played on the left side of the infield when Castro came up, and Castro continues to look to the veteran for advice. He said they talked recently, had dinner together when the Cubs were in Pittsburgh last.
Castro's been hot, playing more at second base these days.
Second pitch for Garrett Cole coming up. It's outside. Again, Cole with 200 strikeouts. A.J. Burnett with 200 strikeouts. That was in 2013, and A.J. had 209. Only 2 right-handers to do that. The lefties who have done it, Bob Veal, 4 times. He did it. Oliver Perez did it once. And they come back through the legs. Walker there. And Castro is out.
Wait, Neil. It's working right away. Get tested. First the pop up with the wind and the sun, and now this one is it gets underneath Garrett Cole, and Neil had to get in front of that bag. Wisely, he was able to come and get in front of that second base bag, because there was a good chance it hits the bag and ends up being a base hit.
Ray Searage will come out and give the scouting report on Soler. September stage for Garrett Cole. He really likes it. And in day games, in 15 day games, he's 9-1, I think, last couple of seasons. But in September starts, he's 10-2. He loves this time of year.
Pirate fans and media, everybody's been talking about, the Pirates, if they can't win the division, well, you got to face John Lester, or you got to face Arrieta in a wild card game. Well, guess what? The Cubs will probably have to face Garrett Cole. They're feeling the same pain, or they're in the same predicament.
1-0 to Soler. Now it's 1-1. Anthony Rizzo just has a flare base hit, but 1 for 3. He's not done that well against Cole. And Cubs, again, you're right, John. They've got to be thinking the same thing.
I mean, it's whatever the case may be. Again, the division's still within sight, especially with the 3 games coming up against the Cardinals. But if it is a wild card game, you like your chances with Garrett Cole on the mound.
Antonio Bastardo warming up in the Pirates pen. 1-2 to Jorge Soler. Throwing 97 miles an hour is Cole. Yeah, last 13 daytime starts going back to September 7th of last season. Cole is 9-1.
With the hook. Just getting a piece. Right off the end of the bat. See, he gets ready early, then there's a pause, and then there's emergency swing.
It's coming at you. High fastball hit into right center. Chasing after it, McCutchen. He'll make the grab in front of Polanco.
Not today.
Polanco did all he could just to get out of the way. It's a 1-2-3 7th for Cole. Center field. We've seen McCutchen go a long way to his right, a long way to his left today. And in this case, off the bat of Jorge Soler, a long way to his left.
Yeah, that ball right there without the wind is way up in those seats. That's another consequence when the wind's blowing in. And fortunately, communication between Andrew and Polanco avoiding a collision. Big out.
Soler remains in the game in right field for the Cubs. Starlin Castro is at shortstop. And the new catcher is Miguel Montero. New pitcher on, Pedro Strop takes over for John Lester. 73rd appearance for the right-hander, facing Mercer. And a strike called on an inside pitch. Bucks would love to find some insurance in the 8th inning. Leading 2-1. Single run in the 3rd, a single run in the 7th. Chopper off the plate. There's the guy that got it done yesterday, Pedro Alvarez. He is strong enough to hit it through this wind. 3-run homer in the 8th. Colorado yesterday to erase a 4-2 deficit. The Pirates would win 5-4. And it gets away, and Mercer is going to head down to first base, and he'll make it.
He'll take it.
A base runner on a strikeout.
Hard breaking ball, and took a little bit of a bad hop on Montero. I don't think he was expecting it to break that way. Typically the curveball spin or the breaking ball spin, once it hits the dirt, it's going to spin in the opposite direction. And wicked hop, a break for the Pirates, looking for insurance.
Strikeout, wild pitch. I think that might be the first base runner this year for the Pirates to actually reach on one of those. Pedro takes low. Alvarez hitting for Garrett Cole. He was 2 for 5 against Stroke with a home run. Bryant way off the line at third base for the Cubs. Castro nearly behind the second base bag, and Pedro hits it into right center field. Mercer will get to third, and Alvarez comes up off the bench with a big hit in the 8th inning.
That is a huge hit right there. You throw him fastballs, you're likely to give up hits, and that's a running 95-mile-per-hour fastball running to the outside corner, but Pedro all over it. Knowing that Soler had to move so far to his right, no chance of them having a play at third base.
El Toro's bat heating up in September. Remember 2 Septembers ago, John, that was the case in the postseason, right toward the end of the year.
The best bat for the Pirates in the postseason 2 years ago. RBIs, he's one in every game.
Joe Madden making the visit to deliver his own message. He had messages for a number of the players. But the Bucks have set up shop. First and third, nobody out. Insurance run at third base. Jordy Mercer reaching on the strikeout and wild pitch. Gregory Polanco a chance to drive him in. Infield will play in for Polanco. Gregory has struck out twice today, and he's also lined out to center. 0 for 3 for Polanco.
Shorten up, put it in play.
Strike 2.
Up there anticipating velocity, not getting it. 2 sliders. And you see there, definitely got that bad hit out there far enough to call that a swing.
Important for the Pirates to play at least one here, because this ballpark, regardless of which way the wind is blowing, strange things happen here. There are gremlins in this park, no question.
Great job, Garrett Cole. He'd like to see another run or 2 on the board.
And the count even. And Garrett right now in line for his 18th win. And he had a lot to do with it, not only with his pitching. He has driven in half the Pirates' runs today. Strike 3 calls. Gary did not chase after that one. He let it go. It was a good pitch by Stroke.
Great pitch by Stroke. This pitch is off the plate when it leaves his hand. To Polanco, it looks like it's a ball inside, but the late run catches the inside corner. That's just a real good pitch.
Third time he's gone down on strikes. 1 out and runners at the corners. Infield remains in, and Starling Marte steps to the plate.
I'm surprised they're as far in as they are, the Cubs infielders. They're all on the left side on the grass. A little more room on the right side, the second baseman. But man, you have to give yourself, I think, as much range as you possibly can. They obviously aren't playing for two. They're going to cut that run out at the plate, but you would think, I mean, with Mercer doesn't have great speed, you could probably back up a good, for Bryant, maybe 5 to 10 feet.
Well, high chopper, and they do not go to the plate. Mercer scores. Looked like Castro was going to come home. Changed his mind, went to first. The Pirates get another run. It's 3-1.
That's a bit of a break. I don't know if he could throw out Mercer there on the chopper. It would have been a bang-bang play. Obviously, the Pirates going on contact. You see Castro coming in. Mercer got a good jump, and Castro just decided, hey, I better get an out. I don't think I can get him out at the plate, but looking there, I think he has a shot.
Joe Madden, I don't know if he's very happy with the way that play turned out. McCutchen locked up there for a strike. 79th RBI for Starling Marte as he scores Mercer. And the ground ball out. Alvarez at second base, 2 down. Good time right now for McCutchen's first hit. Marte without a hit, but he's driven in a run. Castro decided not to go to the plate. Two balls and a strike. A little bit of a cushion now for Garrett Cole.
Pirates doing a nice job this afternoon at just playing the small ball. Just Cole with the big base hit with 1 out, runner on second early. Then after a leadoff double, a sack, clutch hit by Morse. Strikeout, wild pitch, huge play here.
Big play. Pedro's hit got Mercer around to third. Tony Watson waiting to take the hill in the bottom of the 8th inning. Melanson, 50 saves, waiting in the wings. Count is full, 3-2.
Andrew thought he'd get a fastball there. He's been getting pitched around so much. It has to be so tough for Andrew, not knowing when he's going to get anything to hit. And he knows first base is open. See what he gets here, 3-2. I guess he should go back with a breaking ball.
And they hits it. So McCutchen hit by a pitch, or did it hit the bat? Must have hit the bat because Kutch's not going down first. Thought it hit him in the elbow.
I don't know. It looks like, I mean, obviously he would have reacted if it would have hit him, but he stood there knowing, right off the end of the bat.
Another payoff from Stroke to McCutchen, and he strikes him out. Pirates get an insurance run. 1 hit, 1 left. 3-1 heading to the bottom of the 8th. Fantastic. 7 innings, 8 strikeouts, 1 earned run on 4 hits. And John, what was working?
The fastball, overpowering fastball. Look at these strikeouts you're going to see. You got to strike them out, throw them out there earlier in the ball game, but then it doesn't matter lefty or righty. Coughlin blows it by him. Ross, Baya, Fowler away. Bryant in. He worked all quadrants, up and away, up and in, down and away, and sometimes just went right middle and blew it by guys. It was exceptional stuff from Garrett Cole.
200 strikeouts with his 8 today. We're just seeing him get better and better and better. 3-1, bottom of the 8th. And Tony Watson will pitch. Clint Hurdle sending him out there. Now the game in the hands of the Bucco bullpen, which lately has been rock solid.
That two-seam fastball from Garrett Cole. You hear other players from other teams.
Baez tries to bunt his way on, and he is called safe. A head-first slide. Sean Rodriguez looked into the dugout and said, "You might want to take a look at this one."
This is the hard one for an umpire because, for one, you got a hand touching the bag, and then you got a flip from Tony Watson. And usually umpires use their ears. They hear the ball go into the glove. And in this case, because it was flipped, you probably don't hear the crack of the ball in the glove because it was flipped underhand, and you can't kind of look at both places. That first replay, though, looked to me as though Rodriguez caught that ball before the hand reached the bag.
Get a good look here on the Allegheny Health Network Supermo. Checking his out.
Yeah, I got him out. The fans reacted to one replay with some cheers, and they just saw that same replay we did, and the cheers got hushed.
Plus another thing, what about the running lane? He was running on the grass. That's something that hadn't been looked at, or you can't review that. And he is out. So the challenge works. The call reversed. Baez is out.
And now we got to talk about the great play of Tony Watson. We were so caught up in the review and out or safe, but that is a heck of a play for a left-handed pitcher to make. To jump off the mound, falling off the third base side, to be able to come over there, grab that ball, turn and flip, and get it to Sean Rodriguez. That is one heck of a play. Jay Hay, he's on it right away. He had a pretty good view of it.
1 out in the Cub 8th. Dexter Fowler turns around to bat right-handed for the first time today.
Look how far he has to go. I mean, he's in foul ground when he flips this ball. And keeps it low, keeps it on the inside part of the base.
Fowler ground ball to the right side. Rodriguez returns the favor with a toss to Watson. Hit for a slide by Fowler, but way too late, and there are 2 down.
Sean Rodriguez so comfortable over there, playing way off the line. Look how far off the line he is. So anything over there, Tony Watson has to get over. And Rodriguez caught that ball about where a lot of second basemen would have. And so Tony Watson, he's told before he throws the pitch, hey, get over, and so he's anticipating a ball on that side.
Watson now will face another pinch hitter for the Cubs, Austin Jackson. 2 outs, bases empty. It's up 3-1. Jackson will take a strike.
Tony Watson, you watch his delivery, so smooth as Melanson goes through his routine. And when he lands, he's in a pretty good fielding position. Sometimes you'll see lefties kind of off balance, falling off to the third base side. But Tony Watson, it just looks so effortless. He throws, and then he just brings that back left leg through, and is actually very balanced. Tomorrow's pitcher, you'll see Lariano. He's almost got his back to home plate after he releases the ball. And he's at least facing the third base back. Tony Watson is in a pretty good fielding position, so he's able to make those plays a lot easier than some lefties.
2-1. 3-1. Falling behind Jackson. Mariano tomorrow afternoon against Jason Hamill. It's the matchup 1 o'clock Eastern time. Third straight day game for the Pirates. And of course they play on Sunday night baseball this week. And Jackson walks. 2-out walk is issued to Austin Jackson. It'll bring up Chris Bryant. Let's take a peek at our Nissan Road ahead. And tomorrow a game on Fox. Liriano and Hamill. Sunday night ESPN. AJ Burnett and Jake Arrieta. This game here the only local broadcast of this series on television. Buccos and Cubs. We expect it to be a good series. Game 1 has started out that way. Pitch to Bryant. Inside for ball 1. Watson needs to retire Bryant here. Get the Pirates to the bat rack for the 9th. Bryant has struck out twice today. Garrett Cole got him swinging on 2 occasions. Bryant did get a base hit and has scored the only run for the Cubs.
Chicago fans, that's what they wanted. They wanted to see their rookie of the year step up with a chance to tie things. Wanted to see this scenario as well, although today it's you can't miss hit balls. And we showed you earlier graphic. Brian hits a lot of balls the other way. I don't think you can hit a ball the other way out of the ballpark here today.
And the base hit to right. Jackson will hold at second base. He won't try it against Polanco. And the Cubs have the tying run at first base with Anthony Rizzo coming up. Second hit of the afternoon for Chris Bryant.
I want to say hands inside the ball. You know, Bryant, man, when he goes to right, and he goes to right often, head stays down, real quiet, and not a lot of movement with the mechanics. And really throws that knob of the bat towards the ball.
Rizzo has not had a lot of success against Tony Watson. He's just 3 for 15 against him. And now the Pirate infield will come in as Ray Searage comes out to have a word or two. With the whole infield coming in, John, what's the message here, do you think?
Yeah, I'm sure it's going to be how to attack Rizzo right here. Tony Watson, it's not like, he did have to run around a little bit the first 2 batters, but he's only thrown 10 pitches so far, or 11 pitches rather, so far this inning. Ray Searage is basically getting on the same page with Cervelli and Watson as to how to attack Rizzo. He could have had a message from Clint Hurdle too, as far as where to position the corner infielders. This is a no double situation. Outfielders will be a few steps deeper to keep the ball from getting to the wall.
And Rizzo, you see, hits lefties better than righties. But this particular lefty, again, just 3 for 15 against. 2 on and 2 out, bottom of the 8th. Watson against Rizzo. Strike 1. Gets ahead with the first pitch fastball.
Missed his spot a little bit at 95 miles per hour. As you see there, no homers allowed the lefties, hitting over 200.
I don't know if anybody's even sitting down at this ballpark right now. Folks are standing all over Wrigley Field. See that in the 9th inning, but you don't normally see that in the 8th. 2 strikes to Rizzo.
Good location there. Tony Tony Watson. He's not afraid. He knows Rizzo's looking for the ball in. Comes right at him.
Jackson at second base. Bryan at first. 2 out. 1-2 to Rizzo. Struck him out. What a big strikeout for Tony Watson. And we head to the 9th. Pirates lead by 2. On the shoulder, and why not? He came up with a big punch out of Anthony Rizzo. And after this weekend series in Chicago, the Pirates return home and get ready to face the Cardinals in another battle of the National League Central. Our coverage begins Monday at 6:30 with Pirates pregame presented by W.B. Mason on Root Sports. See our next telecast right here. Oh, this is going to be a fun weekend. This is quite an atmosphere at Wrigley Field. Austin Jackson stays in the game and left. So now you got Jackson in left, Fowler in center, Soler in right. Brothers changed a little bit since the start. Chris Bryant, 2 hits, 2 strikeouts, 2 for 4. Castro at short. He came in late. And the new pitcher is Travis Wood. Neil Walker, first at bat of the ball game, getting right-handed, fouls this one away for strike 1.
You expect this to be, nothing but like we're seeing today. Good pitching, very competitive, rowdy crowd. They were all on their feet there in the bottom of the 8th because they know that that was most likely their big guys' last at bats. Both Bryant and Rizzo. And Travis Wood out of the bullpen, no longer starting. Comes out of the bullpen. It's his 50th appearance. Lots of strikeouts, 115 and 95 innings. When he was starting, you'd see 88 to 90, a real deceptive fastball that would get by guys. Now out of the bullpen, you see that fastball. It's still deceptive, but up 2 or 3 or 4 notches.
Walker getting a piece and knocking it foul back into the second deck behind home plate. I'd say Neil had a rather above average game on Wednesday night, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
3-run homer. Went 4 for 5 with a career high 6 runs batted in. 0-2 to him. Up in the air it goes. The shortstop Baez will follow it onto the infield grass and make the catch. Walker is out. 1 out in the 9th. Joe Madden looks like he's going to go to his pen to get another matchup for Cervelli. He had Hector Rondon warming up earlier, but it might be Fernando Rodney. It is. Pitching change, timeout at Wrigley Field. Pirates 3, Cubs 1. Top of the ninth, 1 out, 3 runs on 6 hits for the Pirates, 1 run on 5 hits for the Cubs. And Fernando Rodney, the former Mariner, and Ray, for that matter, pitched for Joe Madden in Tampa.
Closer, doing pretty well here with the Cubs. A 138 opponent average, 104 ERA. So just 1 run allowed. 8 2/3.
It seems like the change of scenery has benefited him because he was actually designated for assignment from Seattle. Francisco Cervelli 0 for 2, a sacrifice today. 1 out in the Pirates half of the ninth. Rodney's first pitch way outside. Rodney in a new role, but with a winning ball club now.
Does he still go with the archery move after an inning?
We haven't seen it. I think he just used that when he closed games. He'd shoot the arrow into the sky. I'm not really sure why he did it, but he did it. I'm not sure why he wears his hat sideways either. He does it. 2 balls and 1 strike. Tony Watson coming in the 8th inning, not only with his pitches but his defense. And Cervelli bangs a single off of Rodney.
Heck of a breaking ball that Watson used to get Rizzo. And had him fooled badly. And Cervelli with another good at bat, another base hit. Cervelli, by the way, started the day in the top 10 in the National League. He's qualified at bats wise. Finally.
He's number 10, but he's in the top 10. Just that he didn't have the requisite number of at bats for a while. And right in front of him is DJ LeMahieu of the Rockies at 302. Bryce Harper leading everybody in the National League with a 339 average.
Rodney throwing that good split. Got Sean Rodriguez out in front.
Wednesday night, Sean snapped an 0 for 13 skid with a bases clearing double at Coors Field. Ball and 2 strikes.
He's got a good changeup. They're old teammates.
Cubs, I think they know they look forward to this series and trying to gain ground on the Pirates. They know how important this game is. And now the Pirates hold on to this lead, close it out. They fall 4.5 back.
Already got a couple of those.
Of the Pirates. Just 8 to go.
The Cubs can still clinch today if the Giants lose to the Padres again. Rodriguez out on strikes, 2 down.
This game started 10 to 9 local time.
Yeah. My guess is they're not going to stay around the clubhouse and wait for that one. They might have a get together of some sort, maybe, who knows, but all indications are that the Cubs are going to celebrate much the same way the Pirates did the last 2 years. They clinched a postseason berth. In fact, 2 years ago, on the 23rd of September, it was right here on this field when the Pirates ended 2 decades of non-playoff baseball. And the funny part about it was that the Braves clinched the day before, and it was game 1 of the series. So the clubhouse carpet, they had big dryers and blowers blowing air. It still stunk from the night before with the Braves champagne celebration. And the Pirates did the same thing the next day. So 2 straight celebrations in the tiny visitors clubhouse here at Wrigley.
Yeah.
2013.
Jay Hay almost got hit with a pitch. The fastball ran in, and now the foul ball coming after him. Heads up.
Trampoline of a backstop. 2 strikes. Jay Hay swinging through the 96-mile-an-hour fastball of Rodney. One and 2. 1 on, 2 down. Rodney's pitch to Harrison. There goes Cervelli, and this one is poked foul.
Oh, what a play.
Oh, it was Andre Dawson.
Man, rarely do we see it live as Jay Hay way out in front of the off-speed pitch and jumping 2-handed grab.
Well, he is a Hall of Famer after all. If you believe that commercially he still lives in the ivy outfield wall.
Oh, that's right.
Kerry Wood pulls him out of the ivy. 1-2 to Jay Hay. And Rodney strikes him out. Nope, foul ball. Nope, drop third strike. That's what it was. He strikes out. An assistant to put out. 3 outs to go. Mark Melanson coming on. Keep up with the pennant races in true HD quality on MLB.TV Premium. Watch every out-of-market game live on more than 400 supported devices, real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking widget, and more. Visit MLB.TV today. Some of you watching us on MLB.TV today. Major League save leader Mark Melancon with a club record 50 saves. Of his 50 saves, 14 of those have come in games when Garrett Cole has started. Wow. And the last tandem to pull that off, Joe Saunders and Francisco Rodriguez in 2008 with the Angels. Dennis Eckersley saved 19 wins for Bob Welch in the Athletics in 1990.
Great numbers. You know, through the Pirates' first 40 games, he only had 9. He had 9 saves through 40 games, so now 42 saves in the last 41 saves. Getting ahead of myself. If he locks this down, it'll be 42 in 114.
Chris Denorfio will bat in the pitcher's spot for the Cubs. And Miguel Montero will bat next. 3 outs to get. And a strike to start the inning for Melancon. Mark's last 2 saves were 1-2-3 innings in Colorado. Ball and 1 strike. Here's the count to Chris Denorfio. Earlier in the year, Denorfio gets starts against left-handed pitchers. He's an outfielder. And he goes to right field. That's a base hit. And it's rolling to the corner. Denorfio around first. He's heading for second. And he is going to stop there with a leadoff double.
Meaningless. Toward that second, or that insurance run, that third run was so important. The cutter, the right-handed hitting Denorfio does a good job staying on it. Again, inside the ball. It's hard enough to get it to the wall, but that's a meaningless run at second base. Mark Melancon doesn't even need to look at him.
Facing the left-handed hitting Miguel Montero. Ball 1 to Montero. Murphy out at second base. Man in scoring position in a 3-1 ball game. Here's the pitch from Melancon. Here's a strike.
Cutter. Montero can be a patient hitter. Melancon, that good cutter of his, where he starts it on the inside edge and has a break in on that left-handed hitter. And gets a lot of swings at those, and that's where he gets a lot of the weak contact.
Strike 2. Montero fouls it into the glove of Cervelli. Two strikes to Miguel Montero. Important to get that first out now. Got him. He'll give himself up with first base open. And now that he's left the circle, he's called out. So there is one down. Montero strikes out. And this will now bring up Starlin Castro to bat for the Cubs.
Goes with the big curveball. See the late break. Montero way out in front, doesn't pick it up. Might be a little difficult to see right now as the shadows creep over the mound.
Starlin Castro hit in the 7th, grounded out to second base. Time is called.
So routine oriented. He studies all the charts on these hitters. Has such a great game plan against everybody he faces. Attacks weaknesses. There's a little inside move there. Fans don't like it. And again, Denorfia not relevant.
Castro is 5 for 13 against Melancon. That's a .385 average. Again, time is called.
I'm curious as to what they're putting on here, and you know, I don't know if there is any concern with Denorfia at second base. I mean, there shouldn't be.
One out, one on for Chicago in the bottom of the ninth. The pitch from Melancon, and Castro takes a strike. If you're wearing Cubs blue or Pirates black and gold, everybody's on their feet at Wrigley. To right field, that ball slicing, and it's a fair ball. And it gets away from Polanco. Castro trying for 3. He'll have a triple. It's 3-2.
Castro has been as hot as any hitter in baseball. He's been swinging the bat extremely well. They try to go inside. That's not the cutter. That looked like a regular 2 or 4 seam fastball. He left it down the middle, but you could tell by Castro's approach inside the ball, trying to go the other way, because Melancon primarily throws right-handed hitters away. And with that ball getting by Polanco, that is a huge extra base with 1 out.
So Castro out. Quentin Berry has come off the bench to run for him. Tying run 90 feet away. Jorge Soler flied out to center in the 7th. To Soler. Soler came in to hit for John Lester in the 7th. You don't want him flying out to the outfield this time with the speedy Berry at third base. One ball, one strike.
Big cut. And with the speed over there at third base, and Berry, Cervelli very, very good at blocking balls behind the plate. You think with Melancon, especially when he gets ahead in the count, you think of that big curveball he likes to throw. That's obviously a concern now. But see, Melancon has trust in his backstop, Francisco Cervelli. And you have to. You can't eliminate one of your better pitches just because a runner's on third. And my goodness, that ball, I'm not sure I've seen Melancon throw a curveball that short. But good job by Francisco.
struck 2. Up on the roof.
And that's good location. Look where Cervelli is. He wants it up and in. Gets it up and in. So if he goes back to the curveball here, tries to start it in the zone. You start it in the zone, good chance you get Soler to chase.
The 2-2.
Yeah.
Struck him out. Big strikeout for Mark Melancon, and the Cubs down to their final out.
That's big. And again, the faith of Cervelli. Throw that curveball. I don't care if it's in the dirt. I know Cervelli will keep it from going to the backstop.
One more out. Baez, the hitter, came in, tried to bunt his way on in the 8th. Originally called safe. The Pirates challenged it. It was overturned. Tony Watson made a super defensive play on that. With the Cubs down to their final out, and Mark trying to keep Quentin Berry from scoring to tie it. Pitch. Strike 1.
You see Melancon making the adjustment, now going into the right-handed batters. That was a perfectly placed cutter. Cervelli wants the sinker in, not the cutter.
Strike 2. One more strike to get. Buccos 1 strike away. Michael Morse, a big day with a couple of hits. Drove in a run. And now the 0-2 to Baez. Fouled off.
Straight fastballs all in. Has pitches to waste.
Wonder if he comes with a curve.
Again, yeah, that's a big pitch to Soler.
0-2 to Javier Baez. Struck him out. That's the ball game, and the Pirates take the first game in this 3-game series against the Cubs. 3-2 the final score. Mark Melancon with his 51st save. Garrett Cole his 18th win. And the Buccos win their 94th of the season.
Look at Mark Melancon. Is he fired up? Have you ever seen him show that much emotion? My goodness gracious. He doesn't give up many runs. He had that tying run at third with just 1 out, and he turned it up a notch. What a performance. Mark Melancon making big pitches at big times. Wow, this in the offense, just a well-played game. We had all the little stuff going on, manufacturing the 3 runs. Outstanding once again, Garrett Cole. Mercer comes up big with a double, couple of runs scored. Man, just a complete game today. Mark Melancon comes up huge, and that one hurts the Cubs.
The Cubs will have to keep the champagne on ice until after the San Diego-San Francisco game tonight. If the Padres win, the Cubs will clinch the postseason, but the Buccos postpone that celebration with a win here today in Chicago. Let's go back to Pittsburgh. Rob King and Kent Tekulve are there.